everybody, welcome back to the Vestibule of Heck podcast, episode 13. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Mitchell.
And if you're wondering where the whole video podcast revolution changing the future thing went, well, I'm back in Siberia.
Yeah, it went to Potsdam is where it went.
Yeah, and so what we're showing right now are 3 royalty-free, what's the other word for like royalty-free? Public domain.
There you go.
Silent films, all starring or written by Buster Keaton, noted silent film star. Speaking of silent films, how you doing, Mitchell?
I'm good. It's been a while.
It's been entirely too long. This semester has been so busy. It's my last one, and I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. It is not. So,
Well, I'm glad you made an exception, though. We had to come together. We sort of are on time for it. Our 1-year anniversary.
Yay! We did it.
Yeah.
1 year of screaming into the void and memes.
Yeah,
and I think it's gone well. It's gone well enough to where, hey, look, we're in year 2.
Year 2. That's our breakout year.
Exactly. The sophomore year of Heck is when we finally take our clothes off at a party, and everyone remembers us. Or this is the summer we take our shirt off in the pool at summer camp. This is the year.
These are truly our formative years.
The defining times of Heck. Because I've been looking at all of our stuff, right? All of our statistics, and we get a steady-ish viewership of a very small amount of people. So if you're listening to this, hey, we know you're there. We love you. Thanks.
So let's see. What have you been up to there, buddy? Let's start with that. Since we know we haven't been working on Heck stuff, there must be something going on besides school.
But I mean, besides school, I've been getting pretty good at skateboarding, and by that I mean I can ollie now.
Oh wow, that's some top tier talent.
But hang on, I can frontside 180 and backside 180.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
I can almost do a switch ollie, which is just obviously standing the other way on the board and doing an ollie.
No, I thought it was using a Nintendo Switch controller to do an ollie.
It's actually ollieing a switchblade.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
That's
or a
dangerous.
light switch. You try and jump on a light switch and kind of wall jump off of it like Mario. But yeah, besides that, I mean, a whole lot of just work, schoolwork.
I've been busy being bad at video games.
Oh, you're bad at video games?
Oh yeah. The new sensation that's sweeping the nation. I've been playing some of that Cuphead.
Oh my god, I've been following Cuphead's development since it was released, or since it was announced. Well, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
2 years ago, whatever. Because I have a personal connection to the rubber hose animation style, because that's the styles that I focused on when I did animation stuff in high school.
That's right.
Cartooning, yeah. So looking at that, I know people think they understand how much work goes into that. Oh my god. They have no fucking idea.
No, I actually wasn't planning on getting it until I saw a couple people stream it, and the visual style was so on point that even though I'm terrible at video games and it looked hard as fuck, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. And so far, it's been worth it. It's kicked my ass, but it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about Cuphead. It is not only good looking, but it's also a fun game to play. And I know fun isn't a real thing, and video games can't be fun. Excuse me, video games shouldn't be fun, or you shouldn't have fun playing video games. However you want to, A, B, or C. Take a little bit of each column. Yeah. But I think its staying power is that it is really fun to play.
Yeah, it's got that almost Super Meat Boy level of instant restart after you die, so you don't feel too frustrated. You die a lot, but you start right back up, so you feel like you can learn from your mistakes pretty quickly.
That, and if you really want to be a wiener about it, you can go right to the menu, hit retry, and start right back at the beginning of the fight or the level or whatever. I don't know if you've gotten to the level yet. It's in level 2. It's the toy one with where you go upside down.
No, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm in Island 2. I just beat one of the plane level bosses, the bird house, the little bird.
Oh, that's the one that I posted on our Instagram. Hey, here's a plug. That's one of the first ones I perfected on my first go.
Wow, that I kicked my ass for a long time, and this is why this actually brings me to another point. I hate grading systems in games. if I beat the level, I beat the level. I don't care if they say I got a D or an A. I don't care. It's but that level, it kicked my ass for a long time. I actually beat it this morning. I was playing it for like 45 minutes, just that level. And so it kicked my ass a bunch, but when I did finally beat it, I got like an A-. So that just shows how much the grading system's kind of a meme.
Right, it's almost arbitrary, because if you are good at the fight, you're gonna because that's what you have to do. You have to be good at the fight to beat it. You can't fluke your way through the fight.
Yeah,
that's just not how Cuphead works.
You only have 3 hit points. Like you get good.
Yeah, it's almost like, as opposed to like being like a racing game. I've been playing a lot of Burnout Paradise also. I re-downloaded that because it's one of the best arcade racing games ever made. IMO. But like you can chance into doing well. Like you get bumped just the right way, and like you can like get ahead of someone, even though that has nothing to do with your own personal skill. You know what I'm saying? But Cuphead is totally the opposite. It's all just you have to be good at like memorizing patterns and reacting to patterns.
Yeah, and so far it's been I've not felt stuck for too long. So it really is, once you get the fight down, just execution. And once it's to that point, they're not too hard.
Yeah, it's just a matter of, every boss, what I always liked about like the shoot 'em up kind of genre, because I really like Journey to Silius is one of my favorite NES games. Like Contra, stuff like that. It's usually just the same thing over and over, which is cool once you get it down.
Yeah.
Because it feels so much like you can hand someone Cuphead and they're like, oh my god, Jesus Christ. And then you spent, an hour the other day pounding your head against this level until you can do it perfectly. And then you just show them how it's done.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I feel like going back through, it might be one of those games that I actually do the go back through and try to improve scores or whatever, just because it's fun anyway, and once you have the pattern down, it's pretty rewarding to actually just beat the head in of a boss that gave you so much trouble.
Yeah, especially that too. As kind of a hard games boy, I do enjoy me some difficult video games. It's always so rewarding, and to me it never stops being rewarding, because I don't really play that many video games anymore. I just don't have a lot of the time.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of, I don't know. I would say I'm the opposite, because generally I don't necessarily need a game to be super hard. I need it to be rewarding, and difficulty can be a way to make a game rewarding.
Sure.
And in the case of Cuphead, it really, really is, because it makes you feel good when you beat a boss that you've been, like you said, just smashing your head against the wall for an hour.
Yeah.
But like I also do, and here's another bit of video games that I'm excited about. We've never talked so much video games on the podcast before.
Ever. I don't think we've talked this much video games on heck ever. Fun fact, we like video games sometimes.
Yeah, believe it or not. You'd never know by our content. But no, a game that I already have 140 some odd hours in, Stardew Valley.
Boy.
The multiplayer is supposed to be coming out either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, and that's probably going to mean another 140 hours for me.
Well, you know what it means. We're going to have to start putting Stardew Valley footage over the podcast.
Oh, actually, that would work. That's a thing we could do.
Right, because we'd both be playing, and, or we could stream it, which is a thing we're probably going to start doing soon.
Yeah, and so speaking of which, also, we might as well just give a plug, because we're probably going to be streaming it with him later on the day that we're recording this. EB, friend of the show, is Zebrahim on Twitch. We're probably going to be streaming with him sometimes too, because we've been playing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Brennan and I have, yep. And I've been playing a little bit of the Fortnite Battle Royale, which is in the same style with EB. So we're probably going to be working with him on stuff like that too, because that's another game that we like even.
Yeah, I feel like this is a thing you brought up earlier before we started recording, but we really started, usually I'm playing one game at a time, and for the past couple of years, that's just been RuneScape, old school RuneScape, because that's just a game nostalgia, and it's also just like a time killer, so, but recently I don't think I've bought this many video games since I stopped collecting in 2013, 14.
Yeah, I play a fair number of video games just in my day-to-day life. I mean, with my job, I have a lot of free time, and if I'm not watching sports or catching up on somebody on YouTube, I'm probably playing a game. But I have a problem where I'll play 20 minutes of a game and just get fucking sick of it. Mm-hmm. So to have, in, the last few months and the upcoming few months, to have all these games that are holding my attention so well, Like, I bought Cuphead 2 days ago, and I've already put 4 hours into it. And like I said, I have so many hours in Stardew Valley, and I've played probably 20 hours over the last 2 weeks of either Fortnite or Plunkbat.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot of games are actually holding my attention. That's a lot of fun to have one of my hobbies be rewarding me for once.
I feel like once we really got like our gaming computers, like when we finally like made rigs, that's when I got back into video games.
Yeah, it does open up possibilities.
Yeah, because like I see a game and I like on Steam now, and I just put in like a new 1060, so I'm not really worried about not being able to play games, right? Because I have like whatever, like I have 12 or 16 gigs of RAM, I can't remember which one, and like an i7, so I'm just like, yeah, everything's probably fine. I could probably run that, or if I can't run it at max settings, I can run it at mid settings.
Yeah, definitely, it's definitely nice not to have to worry if something's gonna run it. That's why for so long I liked consoles, because you don't have to worry if your console's gonna run it or not. If it's on the system, it's gonna run it. But
right, it's just like guaranteed to at least function. I mean, that's all up to the programming, but also most of the time it wasn't a problem.
But most games ran fine. Both computers' ease of access and also sales, and the plethora of indie games makes it a lot easier to have more fun with it.
Steam sales have never fucked me up more than this year. Like the other day, just on a total whim, I saw that Tales of Symphonia, a game that we played a shit ton of when we were like in high school.
Oh yeah.
And middle school, I think, was on sale for like $5, and I don't think I'm ever gonna download it again and play it. But I saw it was $5. I'm like, but I could play it. It's like, and I now understand why people have Steam libraries of 1,000 games.
Yeah, now you gotta watch out. Now you gotta watch out for the Humble Bundles. You gotta be checking that website. I check that website. Oh no,
fuck off! No, I can't. I can't spend any more money on video games.
No, that's pay what you want. Usually that's like $5 for like 10 games.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like the Humble Bundle system. But personally, I would rather pay full price for the game, which sounds stupid, right? But
it is stupid.
I think, but I think the developers, if I wouldn't want to ever put anything I worked on in like a compilation being sold with other stuff that puts the value down, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of like just like a personal thing. I totally get it, and I'm not saying I'll never buy a Humble Bundle, but I don't know. As like from a creator standpoint, I kind of, I guess some of those games are kind of past their.
Well, yeah. Generally, I'm kind of on the other side of it. The reason they do it, as far as I know, I mean, also it boosts their sales numbers and stuff. Because you're right, they do it with a lot of games that are a little older, a little past their sales prime, if you will. Mm-hmm. But also a portion of the proceeds go to charity, and so it's a good thing to do. And a lot of the time, it's not small developers doing it. Lately, it's been some of the bigger developers just putting out huge bundles of their games that they've published that are a little older, just, in swaths, like, here, pay $10 and play, a huge chunk of the Capcom library.
Yeah.
And it's super fun for me to just, it's nice to kind of catch a deal and see, because like half my Steam library of games that I've never played are from Humble Bundles.
Right, because you can't just get one game out of the bundle. You need, obviously that's why it's bundled.
Yeah, you see one game you want, and you just incidentally get 5 other games. If you like one of them, great, because that's happened too, where I've gotten games on bundles and I only wanted one, but I happen to like a second one.
Or you like found out like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because it's like I'll install them if they sound cool, and I'll try them. Of course, I own them. Why not try them?
You might as well. It's not like it. What do you lose? Nothing.
Yeah,
well, you don't lose anything.
Yeah, you already bought it.
You already bought it. You basically got it for what amounts to free.
Yeah, really, because that's how I view Humble Bundles. It's basically me getting the game I want at a slight discount, and then, oh, here is also a bunch of other games.
Right, yeah, I'm sure that's what like makes them so popular for most people. Like, it's just like it just makes sense. Because I don't know, I'm coming from like a bizarre, from the creator's point of view, but I guess also if the game's kind of past post-mortem in terms of its like sales period, like when it's gonna definitely, because what games make the most money in their first year.
Yeah, and then it's also
typically how it goes.
And then it's also, I imagine, it might even boost the sales after for certain games, because say your game's been out for a year, you put it on a Humble Bundle for 2 weeks. The people that buy it in the 2 weeks, all of a sudden you have a fresh new audience telling their friends how great this game is.
Right, yeah, and so that, once the bundle's done, they'll go out and maybe buy it full, or at least whatever the price is on Steam. Maybe not full retail, but...
Yeah, but that happened with another game that I loved for a little while there, that it's a shame it doesn't have a bigger following is Tricky Towers.
Oh, yeah, you were playing Trick Towers for a while.
Yeah, I bought that on a bundle, and I was telling people about the bundle, but they didn't listen to me, and then I had people playing it with me, because there's local multiplayer on that game, so I had people playing it with me, and they're like, oh, this is dope. I'm like, oh, the bundle's over, but it's not too expensive normally on Steam anyway, so they just went and bought it full price.
Right, yeah, so ultimately, the developer does still win. Right, yeah.
Yeah, a sale of a game.
I mean,
is more
everyone
money than,
wins, technically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's welcome to capitalism. Everybody wins.
any sale of the game, even if it's at a reduced price, is still a sale of the game.
Yeah, exactly, and so it makes the game look better. They have more money to do more stuff. Like good. Well, again, capitalism works.
Yeah,
how bizarre.
Especially when it's indie developers. I always say support indie developers. I never pirate an indie game.
Yeah, I think because if you don't have $20, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, go play at a friend's house. That's still an option.
Yeah, go play at a friend's house, or get a demo, or sell some games.
Yeah, something. But these people that work super hard on their games and are relying on a very small market share, you support these people. I'm not gonna crucify you if you're pirating, big AAA studio games, but something like, say Cuphead, just as an example of what we're talking about. So much work went into that, all the art and 3 years of programming and game design, and don't steal that. They're only asking $20.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. You won't get more if you like it. Give them money, and they'll give you more.
Yeah.
Hey, I like this thing. I'm going to give it money so it has more funding to do more stuff instead of I like this. Now it's mine.
And they're such value anyway. All the indie games that I've run into that have been super rewarding. Like Cuphead, like Stardew Valley, they don't retail at full price. They're $20. I think I bought Stardew Valley
games.
Yeah, I think I bought Stardew Valley. I don't think I can
justify buying a $60 game anymore. Like unless it's, I'll buy every Dark Souls game that comes out. Right.
Yeah.
Immediately first day buy.
The only trouble that I still run into is I want to play Mario Odyssey, and I'm gonna have to buy a Switch.
Oh no.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
I'm sure there's an okay Switch emulator out there. They did the Wii U one real quick.
Yeah, there might be, but I don't,
because since it's not proprietary hardware, they're using NVIDIA stuff, and they're using familiar architecture. I think the emulators are a lot easier to make now.
Yeah, I don't mind though supporting on that level either, because I like Nintendo. They're one of the only AAA companies that's really still, I feel like trying much of anything. So also
new Smash Brothers is going to come out on it. New Mario Kart's going to come out on it. It's an investment for the future.
Yeah,
because there's more games.
They fucked up with the Wii U by not putting any main platform games on it really exclusively.
Excuse me, Zombie U was going to be the breakout Nintendo IP of that year. They ruined it.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is they kind of tricked you with the Wii U. As an owner of a Wii U and not really regretting it, because I got plenty of play out of it. Because, they put Bayonetta 2 on it, and they have, Mario Kart and Smash Bros. But they didn't, I was kind of under the impression when I bought it that it was going to get the same treatment as all the other previous consoles, where it would get a main series Mario game, it would get a main series Zelda game.
Yeah, it kind of got redheaded stepchild a little bit.
Yeah, because, by the time they were really putting out Breath of the Wild, that's really a Switch title. You can get it on the Wii U, but it's kind of like Twilight Princess, where it's like
nobody bought the GameCube version.
Yeah, it was really a Wii title.
Yeah, it was ported to the GameCube.
Yes, and so it's the same way with the Switch and the Wii U. So I feel kind of cheated there, but that's the first time Nintendo's done that to me, and anything else that I've ever bought from them, I've felt I've gotten more than my fair use out of. I still have all my Nintendo consoles hooked up to my TV and use them on a semi-regular basis, so I can forgive one.
The real question is, how much do you use your PS4?
Not much. I play a lot of pinball on my PS4.
A lot of pinball.
Yeah, I got a pinball game.
Oh yeah, PS4. You have the pinball thing.
Yeah.
What's it called? The True Table?
I can't rememr I can't remember the name of it. I boot it up and I don't pay any attention to it anymore.
Speaking of balls,
sports balls.
Sports balls. So best season for sports, yeah.
October and early November is the best season for sports because all 4 of the major sports are going to be happening. Major U.S. sports, I should say.
Right, yeah, the ones that matter.
Well, yeah, people would argue that soccer matters, but,
Oh, yeah, would they? No,
I'm not one of those people.
I as someone who watches a little bit of soccer, like I watch a little bit of Premier League anytime I'm home with the boys, go out to the pub and watch some Liverpool games. But yeah, I don't give a fuck about soccer. But what I do give a fuck about is Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball, man, the wild card games have been pretty, to steal a joke from every person on Twitter, really grabbing at that low-hanging fruit. Those wild card games were pretty wild.
Oh my god. Who could have predicted this wild card?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just kill me, please.
Well, hey, what are you saying? That those jokers are wild cards?
I'm just... No.
Yeah, so we got that. Basketball's about to start up again.
Yep,
Pretty
preseason
pretty
basketball's
psyched for
happening
my,
right now. Yeah, basketball's starting 2 weeks from now? 1 week from now? Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched for my boys, the Washington Wizards, to go up and clean up again. Got some Wall and Beal going on. Pretty hype.
I don't know if you've been paying much attention to some of the free agent stuff happening and the trades and whatnot.
Oh, have I ever. Didn't Kawhi go to the Celtics?
No, Kawhi didn't
am I
go
thinking-
anywhere. You're thinking
Who
of,
am I thinking
shit. Now you got me stumped.
Yes,
but
yeah.
what I was gonna say is that you basically got two super teams now in the Western Conference, because you have the Warriors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're the same as they were. They got Kevin Durant. They're gonna win the next 100 championships as long as they stay together.
Right.
But now you got a team making a run for the money. The Oklahoma City Thunder, in addition to Russell Westbrook, who last year averaged a triple-double, they went and got Carmelo Anthony from the Knicks, and they got Paul George.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, so they're trying. Somebody's trying.
Somebody
right?
really wants Oklahoma City to matter.
Really
Really bad.
Yeah, and I mean, after Durant left, people were thinking that Westbrook was going to be not too far behind him, but fortunately, you know, they somebody's making it interesting, because otherwise this year was going to suck a whole lot.
It was going to be a total just like farce meme season of the Warriors just taking everyone to church again.
Yeah. So as long as somebody's trying, because even the Spurs, who are good, they're just the same team they were last year, and last year they were no match for Golden State.
Yeah. And so what else is going on? Oh, football. Football, we're heading
football's
towards...
happening. I actually
how far away from the Super Bowl? We're not that far, are we?
Well, the Super Bowl is February.
Oh, wait, no, what am I thinking of? I don't know what I'm thinking of.
I have no idea.
Never mind. It's been a long day.
No, I actually have an interesting basketball/football stat for you, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I heard this stat, and I was kind of blown away. I actually had to fact-check it because it was so insane.
Those are the best stats.
Going into this year, Tom Brady had been a starter in the league for 16 years going into the season. So he's started 16 seasons as the starter on the Patriots.
Jesus Christ.
He's been to the Super Bowl 7 of those years.
Okay.
So that means that 43.7% roughly of the time that he's spent in the league, of the number of seasons, 43.7% of the seasons he's playing in the league, he's gone to the Super Bowl.
Almost half.
Yeah, almost half. Now, Russell Westbrook, he averaged a triple-double, very good player.
Mm-hmm.
His field goal percentage, which means any time that he pulls up to take a shot, is 43.3%.
So he makes about half.
Yeah, a little less than half. But what that means is that in any given season, Tom Brady is more likely to go to the Super Bowl than Russell Westbrook is to make a shot.
Whoa. That's like, I mean, the numbers are like completely, like, they have nothing directly to do with each other, but hearing it like that.
Yeah.
What in the fuck? Well, I guess, yeah.
Now,
God, half his career he's gone to the Super Bowl.
Pretty damn
Some
close.
people go once. Some people just go once.
Some people never get there.
Some people net Browns.
Well, yeah, the Browns, even so, again, we're 4 weeks in right now. We're recording this on a Friday, so there was the first game of Week 5 was last night, where the Patriots won. So I mean, they're 3-2. They're not doing very well this year, but
Are the Dolphins still doing pretty good?
no.
Ah.
The Dolphins.
I saw they were 1-0, and I'm like, they're going 16-0, baby.
No, the Dolphins are 1-2. They lost a game to the Jets, and people were saying the Jets were going to go 0-16 this year.
They were going to be the new Browns. Oh, we were really close to New Jersey. We could go. We could go to the parade.
Yeah, that's what I said. We talked last year about the 0-16 Browns parade, if that was going to happen. I told Brendan if the Jets got close to 0-16, we had to start a GoFundMe for a parade for them.
Because fucking two pieces of shit from New York make fun of the Jets.
Alas,
we would have gotten terrorists. We would have gotten acid attacked. We would have been toast.
Nah, even the Jets fans at this point know the Jets are shit.
Well, I mean, they're not the worst.
No, actually, they've
overperformed.
They're 2-2 right now.
They overperformed.
Yeah, overperformed.
I mean, it's just a funny way to say that they're doing better than everyone expected.
Yeah, they've overperformed. I mean, their quarterback is Josh McCown, for Christ's sake.
Literally who?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
He's been in the league for 100 years. He's never won back-to-back games, ever.
What? How is that even just, like, mathematically? Like that must be one of the hardest stats to get.
So here's another interesting stat.
He never accidentally won 2 games in a row.
In the last, I think it's this is off the top of my head. So I think it's in the last 8 years, the Patriots have never have never gone more than 1 game under 500, right? So okay. As far as like their record goes, they've never been 2 games under 500 for like 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, you got a guy like Josh McCown who hasn't won back-to-back games in his entire career. And he's like, he's like 36. He's old.
So his days are numbered because he's not a Tom Brady.
Going into the season, Jets fans were thinking they were tanking on purpose to get a good draft pick, and now all of a sudden they're 2-2. Jets fans are so mad they can't even lose when they want to.
Oh my god. Sometimes we don't deserve all the nice things that happen around us. Sometimes things are too perfect.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was bringing up is this whole year of football so far, through 4 weeks, admittedly a short season, but
it's 1/4 of the season. It's first 25%.
Yeah, that's true. But
of the regular season.
It's been insane. The Rams are the highest scoring offense in the league.
Your boys.
My boys. I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I get excited for Sundays now, and that's never happened to me.
Now you don't have to pretend that your car isn't yours because you got the Rams cast in the back.
That's right.
Now you don't have to be like, I don't know whose car that is.
But seriously, that's the Rams beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys were 10-1 odds to win the Super Bowl this year.
And the Rams
beat them. So, and there you go. You got the Patriots are 2-2, or 3-2 now, but 2-2. They were in 3rd place in their division. The Bills were leading that division.
The Bills.
The Bills.
So for a little bit of context for people who aren't from New York, right? We have technically 3 teams, even though I would argue about the New Jersey Jets.
Well, it's the New Jersey Giants, too.
And the New Jersey Giants, yeah, also.
Only one real New York football team. That's the Bills, baby.
Baby.
Bills Mafia.
Is that what they call themselves?
Yeah.
Not like the herd?
No.
Or like the... What's it called when a bunch of animals are like running?
Stampede.
Fuck. Stampede. Why don't they call themselves a stampede?
Because they're idiots. Have you ever?
Because they're Bills fans.
Have you ever Have you ever been to Buffalo? First of all,
I have been to Buffalo. It's
shit.
Sad. They have the only real buffalo wing though. But like I said, for anyone who doesn't know, New York has 3 teams, right? The Giants, the Jets, and the Bills. And Bills fans are like, we don't associate with Bills fans.
That's the other thing too. The Giants are 0-4.
Yeah, I mean,
they
honestly,
were also,
that's not that surprising.
They were
after seeing
15-1 betting odds to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, but after their spring training was not great, wasn't it? Didn't they it was rough?
Oh, their preseason, you mean?
Their preseason was rough.
Yeah,
which I know also you can't always. I mean, listen, I'm a spring training boy. I always look at spring training, I start crying the second I see the Mets getting their ass kicked in Port St. Lucie. So
if you need any indication that preseason means nothing, the Browns went 4-0 in preseason and are now 0-4.
I wonder, you want to know why that is? I can tell you exactly why. For every position that has a 3rd string, that's who is in playing against the Browns.
Yeah, that's exactly why.
That's exactly
why it means nothing.
Right? Yeah, no, and which is fine, but also sometimes there are little gems to pick out. Like you see someone do something, you're like, ooh, That's interesting.
Oh, sure, it's good for individual player analysis, but the only people that really know what they're looking at are, like, the coaches and talent evaluators. The fans watch those games, and they think they know something, but they don't.
You know what? It must be bizarre for non-sports fans to hear about preseason games.
Oh, how they play games for no reason?
Yeah, they're scrimmages, I mean, essentially. They're just scrimmages, right? They're just, like, fake
Yeah,
games.
I mean...
Games that don't count. Like, isn't that... Like, I would imagine, you know, like... But and then a non-sports fan would be like, and you watch those? Like, yeah.
Oh,
Why?
I don't. I don't watch them.
I mean, I do. I love preseason. I wish I could only watch preseason. I guess my sports. Because it's always the most interesting. It's always the most interesting.
You definitely see more people.
Exactly. It's way more... You know, it's not so much focused on, like, the stars. It's all just everyone just getting a chance to play. It's like Pop Warner football.
But,
Like,
I mean,
everyone gets in, like, 5 minutes per game, minimum.
Yeah. But my main point, with all this league of upsets and not knowing what's going on, you still got the good old dependable Browns at 0-4.
When are we going to get Browns jerseys that say Heck Media on the back of them?
I mean, that can happen. I'd wear a Browns jersey.
I would also, ironically, wear a Browns jersey. You're a Browns fan? They're like, no.
No. They're just the only team that I can always tell how they're going to do.
It's like, it's just all reliable. And it's a fucking, like, pickup truck with no wheels.
Yeah, because I was actually, one of the things I wanted to talk about was Colin Kaepernick not being in the league.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not going to be in the league this year because at this point it's too late. But at the beginning of the season, I was looking at all of the quarterbacks who were listed as starters that were worse than Colin Kaepernick.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been proven wrong on one of them, and I'm thrilled. Because one of the quarterbacks that, if you told me in the preseason I could have traded for Colin Kaepernick, yeah, give me Colin Kaepernick, is Jared Goff, the Rams quarterback.
Well, your boy.
He's been great. He was not good last year. His effective completion percentage last year was 36%. That was last in the league, not just last, but by like 15 to 20%.
Here's the real question for you. Here's my little hot question for you, all right? Hot sports question.
Yeah.
All right. So you own a mediocre football team. All right, not great. You're Rex Ryan. Okay, so you're Rex Ryan. And
Rex Ryan doesn't. I don't even think
I know he's the coach, right?
Well, he's a defensive coordinator somewhere, I think.
I thought he. Oh, is he not?
No, he got fucking fired.
Oh, that makes sense. That's good. Anyway, so you're Rex Ryan. You just got fired, but you get to be a coach of a brand new football team. No one's ever seen it before. You have no history. Okay, so nobody wants to really be on your new fucking team because it's stupid.
Sure.
Who do you pick, Kaepernick or McCowan?
Oh, Kaepernick. Kaepernick's been to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but even though it's going to be a PR nightmare.
Yeah, I don't care. Because
okay.
at that position, you take value. When you have... I understand why nobody wants to sign him as a backup. That actually makes a lot of sense to me. Because why have somebody on your team that's not actually playing that's causing a PR nightmare?
Right.
But if you're somebody like, say, the Titans, who Marcus Mariota, their very talented young quarterback, just went down. Mm-hmm. They signed a guy in Brandon Weeden, who sucks a lot.
I've never literally who. I guess that's the.
He's been a career backup on the Cowboys, and other teams, but again, a career backup, not good at all. And the Titans is an offense that's designed for a young, strong-armed running quarterback, which is Marcus Mariota. And also Colin Kaepernick. But instead of that, they're going to go out and sign, 38-year-old Brandon Weeden.
58-year-old.
Statue in the pocket Brandon Weeden.
78-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, they might as well just, put the coach in at quarterback.
Might as well get Rex Ryan.
Might as well just go get fatty old Rex Ryan. Just stand in the pocket and just take the sack, and we'll kick off. The defense will do the work.
When you get the ball, just put it on the ground.
That's right.
Just go right to a knee.
Just snap the ball and fall over.
Could you imagine, that's the form of protest? Instead of taking the knee during the national anthem, you're a quarterback and you just down every...
You take a knee on the field every snap.
How fast would that person get fired? How fast would they have their contract terminated?
Not very fast if it was Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh.
They'd be like, well, the upside, though. He can turn it on.
Well, it's like, I think people talk about it all the time, and it's such a stale take now, but it's the Michael Vick thing, right? Michael Vick, phenomenal quarterback. Michael Vick made dogs fight, right? Did time in jail, allegedly reformed. I don't know him personally.
Yeah.
But from all accounts, he is fine. He's not making dogs fight anymore. And then so teams took him back, and he was great.
Yeah.
On the Falcons? He was on the Falcons, and then he was on the Eagles?
Eagles, and he played a year or two as a backup on the Steelers.
Yeah, and he was he's good.
He was very good.
The problem comes, like, here's my really stale take on the whole kneeling during the anthem thing. Well, fuck whatever. Like, listen, if you want to stand, that's fine. That's your legal right. If you want to kneel, that's your legal right. But also, all actions have consequences.
Yeah,
You can't be surprised when people get mad.
Well, yeah, and you have a guy in Colin Kaepernick who's not upset. It's people are mad on his behalf. He actually hasn't spoken out publicly in a long time. The only thing that he's done that's close to making a public statement is he retweets some people's stuff that they say about him.
Which is, I bet whoever is working his PR is finally able to sleep now. Like, how many death threats a day do you think that person got?
Well, I'll actually tell you this too, and this is I've been thinking about doing a small video on this whole kneeling thing because it frustrates me. Just the brief outline of why it frustrates me is the argument got hijacked by people who don't want to have the argument, so they say it's disrespectful to the flag and the troops. That's not why they're doing it. They've said why they're doing it. So in terms of a protest, you really have no choice but to listen to why they're doing it. They're not lying to you. What would that behoove them? They're telling you exactly why they're doing it.
Well, but at the same time, that's like wearing like a Ku Klux Klan uniform and saying you're wearing all white because you hate the color purple, right? Like it's what it's for initially, right? So like the whole thing of the anthem is that you're respecting like the country and troops, et cetera, right? So if you take that time and then protest how police treat African Americans in America, I can see why people get mixed up.
Well, and then, I can understand it, but once there's a public statement, Eric Reed is the guy who initially took a knee with Kaepernick, and he wrote an article. I can't remember where he put it out, probably the Players Tribune or something to that effect, because that's where all these guys go, because it's a player-friendly outlet.
Right.
He wrote an article that explained why they did it, very eloquently, and what they were trying to do. And now that argument's been hijacked not only by the people saying that it's disrespectful and that don't want to hear it, but also by the other people taking a knee for other things. It dilutes the argument. And
right, yeah. It's like with the remember the Women's March on Washington?
Yeah.
That happened. It wasn't like people kind of assume it was one big unified movement. It wasn't. It was a bunch of people there for a bunch of different reasons doing the same thing.
Yeah, and in actuality, Colin Kaepernick has made one public statement in which he said that if a team signed him, he wasn't going to kneel because he already made his point.
Right, and like why keep doing it? Like it's like if you keep telling a joke.
Yeah, he said his point was made, so if he got signed, he wasn't going to kneel. He wasn't going to be a pariah anymore. He made his point, and now all he's been doing lately is doing his charity work, and he's donated $1 million to charities, and he's done his part, and he's doing his part. And so he's ready to get back to football and let it just be football.
Well, I think the problem is once you put yourself up like that, it's like when celebrities stop being celebrities. They fall out of obscurity not because they want to, but because because this is gonna blow over in X amount of time. I mean, after this season, it's probably gonna blow over because other sports aren't really doing it. NBA said you basically can't.
Yeah, the NBA, and that's actually an interesting thing. It goes into the dynamics of the owners' relationships with the players. In the NBA, the Players Association and the actual league itself, the owners and the commissioner, they have a really healthy partnership. They talk, and the commissioner has talked to some of the more influential players in the league, talked to LeBron and Steph Curry, and they've come to an agreement that it's not that, you can use your words, speak out, we want you to speak out, but stand for the national anthem, and they've all agreed on that. Whereas in the NFL, from what I understand, the relationships between the players and the owners and the commissioner are so toxic and so poisonous that there's no way to get them all to sit down at a table and converse about that.
Right, especially when everyone's coming at it from different angles.
Exactly.
Right? And so it just adds more confusion. That's what it is. I think it's, you said it earlier, just like confusion, because everyone's doing it for different reasons. And, it's hard to, you can't put a point on it to solve a problem if there's a million problems that maybe don't even have any kind of strategy to being solved.
Yeah, so if you have a guy in Colin Kaepernick who is done with his protest, he said he's made his point, and he's doing other things now to make that same point that are unrelated to his job, you would think that a team... And that's all that frustrates me, is that I just want a team to sign him because he's a good young quarterback, and I'd rather watch him play than fucking Brandon Whedon.
What?
Yeah. I'd rather, believe it or not, I'd rather watch a young, dynamic playmaker than 1900-year-old fossil Brandon Whedon.
You know what? I'm going to hijack the podcast really quick. You know what? We are really harsh on some athletes sometimes, and I want to retract one of my previous statements I said in one of the other podcasts.
Yeah?
Yeah. This is an official retractment from Heck Media. We now officially endorse this individual, Bam Margera. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you shit on Bam Margera.
Because my whole so for anyone who doesn't know, in one of the earlier episodes, I've been into skateboarding culture pretty much since I ever touched a Tony Hawk game. That's what gets most people our age into skateboarding, right? And so I used to blame Bam Margera for the decreasing quality from the Tony Hawk's games, because after Underground 2 they went to shit. And I'm mad, because that's the one that was Team Bam versus Team Hawk on the World Destruction Tour, blah, blah,
yeah.
blah. But I've done a complete 180 on Bam Margera. There's a lot of personal life things I didn't know about that made him act like a piece of shit and ruin things I like. Single-handedly. He programmed Underground 2 and made it not as good. And no, but recently he came back into the spotlight after spending some time abroad in Europe, getting his shit together and getting back into skateboarding, like losing weight. And I really gotta give him props. I'm actually pretty excited.
You know what? That's
about
a real
the future of
stand-up move on your
skateboarding
part.
On Bam Margera. I know he listens. I know he's been listening.
You watch. He's one of the only people that listens, and now that we are on his side, he'll pimp us out. You'll see.
Right. Like I personally, I stopped riding Element in high school. I ride a different brand now, but honestly, one of my next boards, the next time I have to buy a deck, probably gonna get a Margera deck. I gotta support the guy. I feel for him, and I'm in a different point in my life now. So Bam Margera.
Yeah, that's real stand up.
This is my formal apology.
You took in some new information and you changed your stance. That's real admirable.
And it's on such an important subject.
as opinion on Bam Margera.
Right. Because it's just I feel bad for if you ever get the chance, check out, he puts out like short videos on like YouTube and stuff like that. Like they're really well produced, they're really interesting, and also he's always been a great skateboarder, and I've always given him shit for that. But he's amazing. He's always been an incredible skateboarder, but now he's just not a dick, so I can appreciate him more.
It's easier to support someone who's not a dick. I'll agree with that.
Well, that's why it was so easy when I was younger to like idolize Tony Hawk, because he's just never been mean. I don't think he has a mean bone in his entire body that he hasn't broken.
Yeah, there's something about athletes who are just kind of generally decent-seeming dudes, and whether they are or not is not really important. It's really just the public perception. That's why you have a bunch of these like quarterbacks that just try not to say anything and stuff.
Right, you have like, I imagine, like the Mannings. Eli doesn't really say anything.
No, all these quarterbacks. I mean, some of the younger guys do, like your Cam Newtons and he's going through some stuff.
Do you want to talk about that real quick?
That's yeah, we can talk about it real quick. So just to lay it out, he made a really shitty remark to a reporter, and he wasn't really thinking about it, so I'm not going to crucify the dude. He came out later, a little too late maybe, and apologized, but it was some dumb thing, and it's not the worst thing an NFL player's done. He was asked a question about a route that one of his receivers ran by a female reporter, and he said something along the lines of, "It's really funny to hear a female talking about routes."
And you know what? I'm gonna hard agree with him, but there's no way he should have said that.
No. Especially in
in this
that
context,
in that kind of career too, where these quarterbacks are trained to say nothing, so they can't get in trouble. And
right, because they become the de facto face of the team. Because who wants to hear from the left guard?
Yeah, exactly.
So
he said this stupid thing, and it's fairly innocuous in the grand scheme of things. When you have guys who are mired in domestic abuse cases and dog fighting and
even Cam Newton has done worse things.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I don't know the guy.
Well, the laptop throwing debacle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So when you got people in the league that are beating their wives and
literally
possessing illegal
murder.
firearms and whatever, name all the crimes in the NFL and in sports in general.
Mm-hmm.
This is fairly innocuous, and he apologized, and I'm sure he knows it was a real stupid thing to say, whether he thinks it or not. So,
right, I mean, because the NFL obviously is a very macho organization. Fun fact: no women play in the NFL right now.
Yeah, he's
I
surrounded.
don't know if anyone
by,
knew that.
He's
so
surrounded.
he's always
by,
surrounded by dudes, and so
yeah.
it is weird. I don't think he was saying it as disparagingly as a lot of people said he was, because when I talk about like baseball, because I played baseball for so long and I watch baseball so much, when I hear someone that I don't think about them liking baseball saying something poignant, like I have a buddy up here at school who just last year got into basketball. This last season was his first season being into basketball.
Yeah.
And so he would say stuff because he would look us up on his own and be like, "Oh, that's surprising to hear you say that," right? Because it's just like you're conditioned. You condition yourself, and which is obviously not good.
No, but you don't expect certain remarks or certain kinds of conversation topics to come out of somebody's mouth. I totally understand where he's coming from.
Right, that's a very poignant, like specific question.
Yeah,
to ask during a press interview.
Yeah, and I mean it's because she knows what she's talking about that she asked it.
Exactly.
Because the piece of information that I find interesting is she's an attractive lady, but she's not an on-air personality. She's a journalist, a reporter. Mm-hmm. So she's not one of the people that, you could argue got hired for looks, because she's actually just writing. People don't know. People read her articles and don't know what she looks like.
And even then, people don't even read her articles. I know how it is. I know how online publication is.
Print
Can't
is
fucking
dead.
fool me. Fucking read my headline and then go away.
So my point being is that she's clearly very informed. Mm-hmm. So it was, it's just a dumb thing to say. Just you got to be more careful than that when you're that kind of high profile.
It was for sure just foolish. Dang foolish, boy. Like, come on, man.
So, one note, I want to hit one more topic before we wrap things up here, because I think we're
Jesus
nearing
Christ.
the end.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it flew by. So in addition to having been playing games with EB lately, he also hit me with some big news. Milestone Comics is rebooting. Those of you out there might know Milestone as might know Milestone as the company that started in 1993. Dwayne McDuffie and others as writers. Yeah, a good man who has passed away too soon. But they were the creators of Static Shock, who was my personal favorite superhero, along with a bunch of other superheroes that were kind of a little lesser known. Icon and what's the female's name there? I cannot remember. But basically, the whole concept was to take minorities and outcasts and allow them to have people in comics that they could relate to. So you have a lot of black characters, a lot of gay characters. Even back in the 90s, you had some trans characters and, Hispanics, because Dwayne McDuffie once said that it's a shame that comic book writers have an easier time writing dialogue for an alien than they do for a female. So it's basically a diverse group of people writing for a diverse group of characters.
Though, that's something about a quote. That quote has always kind of been interesting in my head, right? I think it's kind of like it's first of all awesome. I'm super hype to read more Static Shock because the new 52 Static Shock was awesome, and then they stopped it, and I'm still mad. But that point, the whole it's easier to write alien dialogue than dialogue for like women, as assumedly I'm assuming he's saying as a male.
Yeah,
right?
well, because the I think his main point was that the people who write are so universally white and male and unable to have a broader worldview.
Well, see, I would actually, from a writing standpoint, it is way easier to make something up than try and mimic reality. It is way easier, which is why fiction is so much more prevalent than nonfiction.
Oh, sure, but it's also, I think his main point was really just that it's a shame that we have females reading these comics that can't see themselves in any of these characters.
Right, yeah. No, like, I definitely get his point, but I just think I think that quote is kind of, that's a little kind of like
sure.
a malarkey-ish point, but no, his point is good, but the quote itself is kind of like, well, of course it's easier to write for an alien, you're making it up. Like,
sure.
It's fake, right?
Yeah,
because you can tell, it's the whole Uncanny Valley thing, right? Where
oh,
it's like
yeah,
there's
you
a
can,
certain area where
you're
you
basically,
can tell it's totally manufactured.
When one of your characters is, whatever, a green alien, if he has some weird tick, you're just going to believe it. Whereas if, you're writing for a female and trying to make them sound relatable, or, just a human in general, and trying to make them sound like they would sound in real life, people can easily point out that that's just not how it is.
Right, exactly, and that's the thing. It's easier to make things up than to follow conventions. And
regardless,
like
I'm very excited because in this the world we live in, Milestone was really important back when it came out because, like I said, it brought a lot of diversity and a lot of attention to issues, and it was never afraid to tackle real life problems. Guns in schools and youth and drugs and gangs and violence and just a lot of very topical issues. So in the world we live in, where we have a lot of very heavy informative media in fiction right now, it's going to be nice to see some inclusiveness and some broader spectrum stuff and some real issues tackled in comics again. I'm really excited to buy a comic book for the first time in 5 years.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I stopped following. The last thing that I was actively following, like, I think it was bi-weekly or monthly, I can't remember, was the Silver Surfer. Because Silver Surfer is one of my favorite comic book characters of all time, but it turned out to be crap. Like, 20 issues in, it was crap. So I'm just like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, it's
been... They have these 20 issues. Also, they canceled Owlman. Not Owlman, Night Owl. Which is like a stupid, I think it was like maybe an Image comic or like Dark Horse. It was one of those like not Marvel or DC comics, and it was really neat for like 3 whole issues, and they fucking canceled on me.
Yeah, that's been my experience.
Because I was the only one buying it.
That's been my experience with comics too, and that's why I haven't really bought a lot. The last time I was buying comics on a regular basis was when I was buying that Static Shock New 52. Because I'll buy anything Static Shock. And that Static Shock New 52 was pretty good, but they really didn't let it spread its wings. And it was also had the problem of it was attached to the previous iteration of Static Shock.
Well, also it was attached to the New 52 line of comics.
Yeah.
There was a whole... I mean, Booster Gold is one of my favorite DC heroes. And he got 2 issues before they canceled his New 52.
Yeah.
However many issues he got. It wasn't a lot.
So
I think they canceled Blue Beetle also. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, so the exciting... I think they did. The exciting thing, though, about this is that it's going to be a complete restart. It's in its own universe, so it's not attached to anything. They're restarting the characters, so Static is going to be a 14-year-old kid again, so it's going to be kind of like a Spider-Man origin story type thing. It's going to be really exciting. I'm going to be really
interested to see how they handle Static with technology. Because I think that's going to be a big angle they're going to go in, right? Because in 1993, yeah, you had internet, but you didn't have the internet we have today.
Yeah.
You didn't have the accessibility we had today. I guarantee you they're going to do cool internet arcs and
stuff. From what I read, he's going to be that super smart prodigy type 14-year-old kid who's super into like science and comic books. So like he got I don't know, this is a little known fact, I think.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, yes. But this is a fact that I learned at some point. That Marvel actually rejected Static Shock as a premise because they said it was too close to Peter Parker. So, and that's kind of nice, though, because it's relatable. Because the reason people liked Spider-Man so much, like young kids back when Spider-Man came out, was because he was relatable. Like, oh, I'm like a geeky little nerdy kid, too, who likes comic books and
I'm a teenager technology. Who lives in Brooklyn.
Yeah, but like,
I like the Mets.
So now Static Shock is that, but for, people that are stuck in an inner city or black people anywhere or so it's just another branching, like he can relate to people that Spider-Man maybe can't.
Right, yeah, it covers the youth.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Put more of a blanket over, yeah, because I think also we'll see how it goes because comic book sales.
Yeah. So but I mean, Milestone has always had a nice niche audience that's been very dedicated, so you'll have a lot of movement from those people, like me.
The only thing we got to remember is that there was only one good comic ever written, and that is the only good comic being the gritty Flintstones reboot.
What about the Snagglepuss?
We committed a genocide, Bonnie.
What about Snagglepuss?
Also, oh man, did that come out?
I assume it must have. I didn't read it.
Might have to do something on that because we were talking about that when that was coming up. So
yeah, we should look into it. We'll see if it came out. So we're gonna go and see if that came out then.
We are. Let's see if it came out, and let's see if Snagglepuss came out.
That's right.
Go watch the old podcast and find out what that's all about.
All right. So it's been real.
It's been real. It's been fun, and it has been real fun. So for Heck Media, well, again, sorry, Bam Margera. For Heck Media, I'm Brendan.
And I'm Mitchell.
All right, we'll see you guys later. More content on the way.
Thanks for listening.